Once upon a time,
I wish
in a far-off kingdom
more than anything
lived a fair
more
maiden,
than life.
a sad young lad,
I wish
and a childless...
My name is Natalie Coca, and I am playing... You have met Jeremy Coca, who is my youngest brother, and you're going to meet Anthony Coca, who is the second oldest child out of 4 of us. Everybody sings, everybody dances, plays instruments. My parents are very musically inclined. I mean, it extends just beyond the 6 of us. I was the first to come out and say, I'm going to be a performer, you know, and the boys sort of followed suit, and they ended up having more talent than I could have ever dreamed of. My parents were always taking us to shows, taking us to symphonies, it was just, you know, it was just always fun. There was always somebody to sing, you know, the Danny part when we were watching Grease, or there was always someone to put little skits on. Our older cousins would direct us and things, and we would all perform for everybody, and we would have family talent shows, and I was actually the shy one. I knew that I could sing, and my mom was always the one saying, like, Natalie's gonna sing for everybody, and I would say, Mother, don't make me, you know? Eventually, I was like, you know what? The spotlight is big enough for 2 of us. So. You know, I was bossy. Ask my brothers. I was always in charge, which also leads to the perfectionist side of me, which has been something that I'm trying to let go of, and you know. But now we all have found the perfect balance of, you know, you get to shine, but so do I, and it's great. I didn't know what I was getting myself into when I got cast, because I knew the musical backwards and forwards. I knew all the songs, but I had never learned one part. You know, I knew the baker's part, and I knew the witch's part, and I knew Cinderella's part. And, so when I had to just streamline into just Cinderella, I was very confused, and I now understand why people say it's a challenge and why people say Sondheim is so difficult, because he writes in these weird rhythms, and you know, it's so full of words, and it's been a challenge, but I think that makes the end result so much more powerful, because you have accomplished something that, you know, not very many people get the chance to do. It's very traditional, I guess. You don't see ethnic actors in it, really, and especially not in the original, which is what everybody bases, you know, themselves off of. And the new movie coming out, I don't know the cast list off the top of my head, but there are no ethnic actors that stand out, you know. So I don't think that I necessarily play it ethnic. I think it's just the fact that I am Latina that is really the only thing that's gonna shine through. I'm not saying any words differently. I'm not singing it in an accent. It's very much Sondheim's, you know, Cinderella, but with me in it, and I get to wear a pretty dress. Personally, I never felt stopped by the fact that I was Latina, probably because I saw Brandy's Cinderella, which, I mean, nobody loved her performance, but we all loved Whitney, we all loved Bernadette, and just, you know, the variety of characters, and that prince was handsome. So I knew that I could do what they had done. I think that for those that are coming to see the show at ADLR, they're going to see, you know, a mixture of people, and that'll hopefully incentivize them to perform and to audition for things that they are typically not right for. But, you know, if you have the talent, why not? Well, when Adam first told me that we were doing Into the Woods, I was like, awesome, I know that show. It's gonna be easy. And then I auditioned and got cast, and showed up at the first meet and greet, and he was sort of telling us his concept for the show, and I kind of looked at him, and he noticed it right away. He was like, Natalie's like, I want to get out of here now. Because I didn't know that this is what we were going for, but every day I've just seen something work and something click in myself and in the actors I get to work with, and it's not what you've seen before, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to move you just as much as the original does. And, you know, hopefully maybe even a little bit more. You know, we have the embodiment of family dynamics in the show. You know, I have my brothers in it, and I have who I call my sisters in it, and, you know, my second stage mom is in it, and it's just, it's so fun to get to interpret it with people who I am very close to. My sisters I met last year during Heights. It's Sarah Dickerson and Amanda Williams-Ware, who just got married. And I don't know how I lived my life before knowing them, honestly. They have inspired me as an actor and, you know, to be a better sister, a better friend, and it's fun. They're both, I mean, drowning in talent. So I admire them so much and look up to them and I'm like, okay, help me with this because I just don't get it. And they're like, calm down, you've got this, it's totally fine. And, you know, will help me work through performances and will help me work through my life. And had I not done Heights a year ago, it would not have been the story. So it's been a great ride, and I have Artes de la Rosa to thank. Well, from day one, you know you're loved. You walk in and you're hugging and you're eating and you're, you know, forming these very quick bonds with people that I don't know very many other theaters foster. Just that whole, you know, we're all gonna hug and love each other and it's gonna be a friendship, a relationship. And I've carried, from this theater, I've carried away more relationships than I have combined anywhere else. And it's not to say that I haven't made great friends elsewhere. It's just, I think that you step into this environment and something's brewing here, and then to become a part of it, you walk away and you're like, well, I know that that's not gonna go anywhere. That's, you know, I may be here, I may be there, but Artes de la Rosa is with me because of the people, because of my experiences. It was interesting because I didn't initially like Cinderella, and through this rehearsal process, I've kind of realized that you don't always get to play who you love and admire, but that doesn't mean that there isn't something in them to love and admire. And I've hopefully caught on to what it is that makes Cinderella who she is, you know, the traditional one, and also Sondheim's Cinderella. I'm stumbling, I don't know how to answer this. When I had first signed up to audition, it just so happened to be in the same block as my brothers and my friends from Heights. And so honestly, I came in knowing that I was just gonna get to perform in front of my friends. And knowing Adam, knowing Kristen, I felt very comfortable being able to deliver vocally and as an actor. It was just fun. I don't get that you don't get that experience very often, to get to walk in and just sing for your friends, you know, perform for your friends, hopefully convincingly enough that they see you as the character you're going for. And so then our callbacks, those are always fun too, because you get to just absorb all the talent that's in front of you, and you're sitting there and you're thinking, I'm not gonna get this role because so-and-so is so talented and they just came in and rocked it, and you kind of just have to do your best. And it's different. It's a collaboration, a collaborative process. It's not just you and you alone and figure it out. You know, it's very much how can you take from the people around you and the energy and feedback to perform better. There are some people when I was auditioning that I just could not stop watching. They just had this talent and just big voices, and I was just so taken by them. And then we get cast and get to the first rehearsal, and I realized I had to step up my game. I was like, Natalie, you're probably the weakest link here, because they just were so committed and so perfect for their roles that I really questioned if I was going to be the right Cinderella for this cast. FEBRAURY's Prize just is so funny and so clever, and I love Joanna Gleason, the original Baker's wife, but watching Alden, she is somebody I know. She's somebody who I would be friends with, you know, in real life, and I can see a mother, I can see a young wife in her, you know, just funny. But Kyle and Georgia, the fact that as individuals, they're both beautiful, both very talented, but then you put them together and I'm just taken back in my seat watching them, thinking about how the audience is going to react to them as the wolves. And I really hope that they affect everybody the way that they affect me. It's crazy. It's pretty cool. That we all love fairy tales because it's not real life, because it's just this fantasy of you know, the princess and the prince falling in love and living happily ever after. But with a production like this, you really get to know who is behind that princess or that baker, and you find things that you love, and you find things that make them just human and just normal, everyday people you see walking down the street. And I think that that's the cool thing that audiences are going to walk away with, is like, wow, I got to know who they were on stage, and, you know, for good or for bad, I learned something, and I think that that is really special. Oh, God. Really? My favorite is when she tells off the prince, honestly, because it's my real life. Hi, my name is Natalie Coca, and I'm playing Cinderella in Artes de la Rosa's production of Into the Woods. Please join us February 22nd through March 16th for the time of your life. I'm blanking on names because Amanda Ware will make you cry. We can cut that part out.